In this video course, learn MySQL and its concepts. MySQL is a relational database management system, that is RDBMS, wherein we store records in the form of tables, rows and columns. So RDBMS is the basis for SQL and modern database systems such as MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, etc. In this video course, we have covered the following lessons with more than 100 plus live running examples. So let us start with the first lesson, that is MySQL introduction and features. Let's start. In this video we will see what is MySQL, an introduction to it, why we should use it and what are its features. So let's see. MySQL is one of the most popular RDBMS. So it is based on SQL, that means structured query language. So records are saved in the form of tables, rows and columns. It is one of the most popular RDBMS. It was created by MySQL AB, which was a Swedish company. After that, MySQL AB was acquired by Sun Microsystems, and later on, Oracle acquired Sun Microsystems. So right now, MySQL is owned by Oracle. It is being used by many great IT giants, you can say, like Facebook, YouTube, Flickr, and many other. MySQL is written in C and C++. Initially, it was released by MySQL AB, as I told you, in the year 1995 with the version 1.0. Whenever you will install MySQL, we will see later on that how we can install MySQL. We will also install MySQL Workbench. So let us see what is MySQL Workbench. It is a UI for MySQL that is a very good graphic tool that eases your work in creating a database, tables and records and saving the records. It is like a GUI, that is GUI, through which you have an interface wherein you can easily create database and tables on just click of a button. It supports MySQL Server versions 5.6 and higher. Let us now see the features. Features, it is based on SQL as I told you before. It is open source, that is freely available. So we will see later how we can install it. We just need to download it because it is open source and freely available. It is friendly and compatible with PHP. That means you can easily connect it with PHP and create a website, create a web database and share it with others and work on it. You can connect easily and manipulate databases. For example, using XAMPP, you can install PHP, MySQL and as well as connect both of them, create a new database in MySQL and connect both of them using phpMyAdmin. It is based on a client server architecture. It's very secure, flexible. It's one of the most secure database systems. It is scalable. It supports large databases. 50 million rows is a big thing or more in a table you can create. Default file, the default file size is around 4 GB, but you can easily increase it. It is also compatible with major operating systems like Windows, Mac, and Linux. So guys, we have learned about MySQL, but you would be wondering how a table looks like, how everything works in MySQL. So guys, here is an example. Here we have demonstrated that MySQL has databases which has all the tables and records. So database has tables. This is our database. It is having tables. Every table is having rows in it and rows has columns. That means we have records here. So a database can have more than one table in it. So let us see an example here. So let's say we have a database employee records. Under that we have a table employee. Here we have database tables. We have, let's say we have one table employee. Under that we have the records, that is rows and columns. So columns, here we have employee ID, first name, last name, EMP age, that is employee age, and EMP zone, that is employee zone. So these are 5 columns and this is how we have represented it. So guys, in this video we saw what is MySQL, why we should use it, what are the features, what is a MySQL workbench, and we also saw how records gets saved in a MySQL database. What is a database? Database is a collection of tables. Tables has rows and columns which saves the records. Hello guys, in this video we will learn about the difference between SQL and NoSQL. So we will cover this difference with examples. Let's begin. So guys, SQL follows the relational model, that is the RDBMS model, that old school way of creating tables with rows and columns. So this is what SQL supports. And NoSQL is completely different. It supports various formats like document and storing data in the form of key values, graph nodes and other stuff. So SQL came in 1970, so you can say more than 50 years it's been around. And NoSQL just came in late 2000, you can say. examples. SQL is basically RDBMS, so all the databases related to RDBMS will get covered under SQL. MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, all are part of RDBMS, and all these are based on RDBMS. Regarding NoSQL, the biggest example, one of the most trending databases right now is MongoDB, which is document based. With that, we can also store data in the form of key values using the Redis database, using white column, using Cassandra and HBase. So the usage here, SQL is generally used to store data in the form of tables, rows and columns. Let's see an example. At first SQL, you can see the SQL example. We have shown MySQL here. As I told you before, SQL saves data in the form of rows and columns. It's based on RDBMS, that means based on relational model. Relation between rows and columns in a table, here it is. You can see the relation between rows and columns. So these are our columns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, employee ID, first name, last name, employee age, employee zone, and these 4 are our rows. Okay, so as I told you, tables are having rows and columns, and a database is having a collection of tables. So this is what we call SQL. That is, as I told you, tables with fixed rows and columns is what we call a model for SQL. That is a relational model. Okay, now talking about MongoDB, I told you before it saves data in the form of documents key value pair. That is completely different from SQL. So this is the document based MongoDB database. We have 4 columns here: ID, department name, department manager, and department rank. So you can see the database here under NoSQL, under MongoDB. Documents have fields, and collections is having documents, like tables is having rows and columns. In this, collections have documents and fields, and database is a group of collections. In the same way, in SQL, database is a group of tables, and this works for MongoDB, but it saves the data in the form of in document based form or key value form. Okay, so this is what we have shown here: document based, key value form, white column form, and graph form in NoSQL. So completely different from our old school conventional SQL. Schemas, it is rigid and it is flexible. NoSQL is a flexible database, you can say. You can store the data in all these forms, different forms: document, key value, graph. Multi-record, asset transactions, so it is supported by SQL. Here in NoSQL doesn't support it, but MongoDB will still support it. So asset transaction are basically an acronym for atomicity, consistency, reliability, and durability. These are basically database operations, and this asset ACID is known as asset properties, or you can say asset transactions. In this video, we will learn how to install the current MySQL version on Windows 11. So let us start. At first, go to the web browser. On Google, type MySQL and press enter. On pressing enter, the official website is visible. Click on it. Here is the official website, mysql.com. Click the downloads menu. After that, go below, and here some versions are visible. We need the MySQL community downloads version, so I'll click on it. The MySQL community downloads we want for Windows, so I'll click MySQL installer for Windows. Now the current version is visible. We want for Windows, and here 2 versions are visible for MySQL. We will go for the second one. Okay, here it's written 32-bit, but this works for 64-bit Windows operating system as well. So the size of the file is 558 MB. Click on the download button to download. Now click no thanks, just start my download. Now the download started. Let's wait. The setup completed. Right click and click open to begin the installation. Minimize. The installation started. Here you need to select a setup type. Go for custom. After that, click next. Now you need to select the products. So we will select it from here. Click MySQL servers. After that, click MySQL server, and then MySQL server 8.0, and after that MySQL server 8.0.44. Click on the arrow to move it to here. In a similar way, go to applications, click MySQL Workbench. After that, click MySQL Workbench 8.0. Select Workbench and click here to move the workbench here. After that, go to Shell, MySQL Shell, and MySQL Shell 8.0.44 is visible. Click on it to drag. So we will install all these three. Okay, Workbench is like a UI to work on MySQL, and with that MySQL Shell is required. So all these three are required to install MySQL on Windows operating system. Click next. Ready to install. Now click execute. Now MySQL Server, Workbench and Shell will get installed. Let's wait. The status is complete. Now click next. Product configuration. Click next. Type and networking section is visible. Keep it as it is and click next. Authentication method is visible. It is recommending us to use a strong password, so keep it as it is and click next. Add a password. You need to add your own password here. So let's add. This will set a password for our user. So you would be wondering what is the user here? The user is root. So here the user is root and the password is the following. You need to add your own password here. Click next. Windows service, keep it as it is and click next. Server file permissions. This is the location where your databases will get saved. Keep the default, that is yes, grant full access and click next. Apply configuration. Now I'll click execute. Now one by one all of these configurations will get set and our installation will complete. The configuration is successful. Click finish. Product configuration. Click next. Installation complete. After the installation, this will start MySQL Workbench and Shell. Click finish. So this is your Shell and Workbench, but the installation is not yet complete. We need to set the path. So let us go to the place where we installed MySQL. It was in C drive, program files. Here, go to MySQL, click on it, click on MySQL server, click bin and copy this path. So this path we need to set so that we don't need to reach this path again and again. Go to start, type environment variables. Here click edit the system environment variables. Therefore we will click open. Under advanced, click environment variables. Now under system variables, double click path. Here click new and set the path. Right click and paste the same path. So this is our bin path. We have added the path. Now click OK. OK. And the last OK. We have installed MySQL. Go to start. Type CMD. So this is how you need to start your MySQL for the first time. Click open. Here type MySQL -u. U is for user. So the user was root. I told you before. I have mentioned this before as well. After that mention -p, that is for password. When I'll press enter, it will ask for the password. Enter the same password which we added before and press enter. So we have installed MySQL. First I'll use the show databases command to list the default databases. Here are the default databases. Now let us go to the workbench which we already opened. So this is a UI to work on MySQL. I'll click here, enter the same password which we added before. Click save password and click OK. Now MySQL Workbench will open. In this video, we will see how we can easily create a database in MySQL. Now let's see the default databases. Show databases command, semicolon, press enter. These are default databases. Now if you want to create a new database, simple, use the create command, create database. Now enter the database name you want to create. Let's say I want to create AmitDB database, AmitDB semicolon, press enter. So this created a database. Now let's check again with show databases command, semicolon, press enter. Now you can see we have created a database, but we are having no records in it. AmitDB is a database. Now to use it, semicolon, press enter. Database stage. Now we are under AmitDB. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily create a new database in MySQL. It's very easy. You have to use the create database command. In this video we will see how we can easily create a table in MySQL. Before creating a table, you need to create a database. So here we installed MySQL on Windows 10. After that, moving further, what we did, we just checked the databases, show databases. After pressing enter, the default databases are visible. We have to create a new database. For that, we just used create database and the database name. So our new database name is AmitDB. You can use any name for the database. After that, we added semicolon and pressed enter. This created our AmitDB database. To verify that we have created a database or not, we use the show databases command again. After pressing semicolon, we pressed enter, and on the top you can see our database successfully created. Now as you know, we need to create table now. For that, what we did, we used the command use and the database name and pressed enter. When database change is visible, that means you have entered a database. Now what? Now we need to create a table name. For that, we need to use the create table command. Now let's create a table. Now let's create a table employee with 5 columns. Use create table command. Now enter the table name. Let's say our table name is employee. Bracket. Now press enter. Now first column, let's say employee ID. I'll use emp ID. Database int, because we are considering the employee ID as integer, like 123100101, comma, because we need to add the next column. Let's say the next column is first name. Since name goes under string, we will add varchar here, the value, comma. Now first name, then the last name. Now same varchar because it's a string, comma. Now what we can add, we can add the employee age int, yes, comma. Now the last column we can add is the zone of the employee, emp zone. This looks fine. Let's add another varchar. That's it. Now this is the last, so we won't be adding a comma. Press enter and close the bracket, use semicolon and press enter. This will create your employee table with 5 columns. Query OK, 0 rows affected. That means we have successfully created. Now when you will see the structure of the table, it will show nothing. It will only show the columns because we haven't added any records. Now to check the structure, use the DESC command. That means describe. Use the DESC. After that, the table name. Let's add the table name employee, semicolon and press enter. Now you can see the structure of the table is visible, but no records because we haven't added any records. These are the data types which we added above. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily create a database as well as a table. So we created AmitDB database and a table employee. In this video we will see how we can easily insert records into a MySQL table. So to insert records, we use the insert into statement. Now let us see all the databases. Show databases command, semicolon, press enter. Now these are the default databases. Now let's create a database. Create database, database name. Let's say the name is AmitDB, semicolon, press enter. Here you can see we have successfully created a database. database Amit DB. Now let's use it. Use Amit DB. Now we have entered the database. Now let's create a table. Create table, table name. Let's enter the table name as employee. Press enter. Now enter the first column. We will be creating employee table with 5 columns. Let's say the first one is employee ID, EMP ID, space the int, comma for the next column. Enter the next column. Let's say the next column is first name. Name would be in the varchar, comma, press enter. Last name, same under varchar, comma. Let's now add the fourth column, employee age. EMP age is the name we are giving. You can give any name, int, comma, and the last column now. Let's say employee zone. Give it varchar. And that's it. Now we have created it. Press enter, bracket, semicolon. Now press enter. Now you can see we have successfully created a table. Now let's check the structure. DSC table name, DSC employee. This is the syntax. Semicolon, press enter. This is the structure of the table. You can see the field type and other keys and constraints. Now insert some values. So as I told you before, we need to use insert into statement to insert values. Let's use insert into table name employee bracket. Now let's enter the column names, EMP ID, then is our first name, last name, EMP age, EMP zone. Close the bracket. Now type values, and now let's add the values. Let's say employee ID we are entering is 1. First name, let's say Jack, but remember you need to add quotes for string, single quotes. Jack. Now comma, last name, again single quotes. Here it is. Now what is remaining? We have completed employee ID, first name, last name. Now age. Let's say employee age is 25. Employee zone, again quotes because it's varchar string. Employee zone, let's say north. Looks fine. Now close the bracket, semicolon, and press enter. You can see one row affected. That means we have successfully entered one row. Now let's use a select statement and display all the records from our employee table. On pressing enter, what will be visible? The following record. We added only a single row. Press enter. You can see our single row record is visible. Now let's enter second record. I have used the arrow key, up arrow key. Now the same is visible. Now just change the values to add the second row. To name, let's say I'll add Tom. I hope you are noticing that quotes are visible for only varchar, that is string. Here it is, our second record. Now press enter. Here you can see we have added another record. Let's add the third record. Let's say Brad Pitt. Age, let's say 30, and zone west. Here it is. Now press enter. We have added third record. Now let's add the last record. 4. Let's add the record, fourth record. Let's say the name is Emma Stone. Let's add the age of the employee and the zone. That's it. We have added 4 records. Now on pressing enter, it should show query OK. If there is no error, here you can see. Now to show it, if you remember, to display all the record, select star from employee. Select star from employee. Semicolon, press enter. You can see all our records are visible. So we have successfully entered 4 rows in our employee table. Here you can see with 4 IDs 1, 2, 3, 4, and employee names Jack Sparrow, Tom Hanks, Brad Pitt, and Emma Stone. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily create a database, then a table, then how we can easily insert records into the employee table, and how we can display all the records. In this video we will see how we can easily use the select statement in MySQL to select data from a database. The select statement allows you to retrieve records from columns, from all the columns or from specific columns. So for our example, let's say we have a table employee with 5 columns. So let's see the structure of the table first using DSC command. So DSC space employee, employee is a table, semicolon, press enter. Here you can see the structure of a table. We have 5 columns. Okay, so out of which employee ID and employee age are int type and rest are varchar, which is first name, last name and employee zone. So we will use the select statement to display all the records from the table employee. We already entered records. If you want to learn how to insert records in the table, you can refer our video in the description. To display all the records from the table, use select statement. Star is for all the records from. Now enter the table name. Our table is employee, so we will add the table name. Semicolon and press enter. Here you can see all the records of the table employee is visible using select. Now let's say you want specific column records. For that use the select, but you won't be using star because we want specific records, not all records, not all columns. So let's say you only want to retrieve the employee ID, so use the column name, select employee ID from, and again the table name. That's it. Now semicolon, this will retrieve only this column, employee ID, press enter. You can see only this column record is visible. Let's say you need to retrieve only the last name. For that use the same command, select, enter the column name, it was last name, from name of the table, and semicolon, press enter. Now you can see only the last name is visible. All the records from a specific column last name is now visible. Now let's move further and retrieve records from more than one column in a single statement. For that use the same statement, select. Now let's say you want records from 2 columns, employee age, employee zone. EMP age, comma, because we are entering the second column, EMP zone, that's it. And the same from table name employee, semicolon, press enter. Now you can see record from 2 columns. In the same way you can retrieve records from 3 columns. Let's say select, let's say we want employee ID, first name and last name, 3 column records. We will use the same syntax from employee table, semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter you can see we have retrieved records from specific columns using the select statement. So guys, in this video we saw what is the usage of select statement. We can easily select data from a table. We saw how we can retrieve all the records using select star. We also saw how we can retrieve records from specific columns. In this video we will see how we can easily use the select distinct statement to retrieve only the distinct values from a table, that is the different values. Now let's say we have a table employee. Let's see all the records of the table employee. For that use the select statement. Star means here we are retrieving all the records, semicolon, press enter. Here you can see we have all the records here. Under employee age we have duplicate records. So when we'll be using the select statement without distinct, then all the records of the employee age table will get retrieved. Let's say select, now the column name, employee age, from table name is our employee, semicolon. Now after pressing enter only the specific column employee age will be visible. Here you can see the specific column values are visible. We want distinct values, as I said before, that is different values which are not duplicate. So it's very easy. What you need to do, you need to just use distinct. Yes, that is select distinct. The same syntax but select distinct. Let's write We have used select distinct statement here. EMP age is our column and from employee is our syntax, employee is our table name. Now on pressing enter, semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, the duplicate values won't be visible. On pressing enter, only the distinct values will be visible. Here you can see 25, 30, 27, the duplicate value removed. So guys, in this video we saw how we can use select distinct statement so that we can return only distinct values, that is different values from the table. In this video we will see how we can use where clause in MySQL so that we can filter records. With that, the where clause is also used so that you can fetch the records that satisfy a particular condition. Now let us understand this concept using an example. So here we have started our MySQL server. Let's say we have a table employee. Let's see all the records of the table. Select star from employee. Star is used to retrieve all the records and a table name is employee. Semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, you can see all the records we have inserted in our table. If you don't know how to insert records in the table, you can refer our video in the description wherein we have used insert into statement to insert records in a table. Now we need to use the where clause as I've told before. Now let's say we need to retrieve all the records wherein employee age is 25. So only the first row and second row should get retrieved. For that, use the same select star because we want multiple records from employee. That's it. Now press enter. Use the where clause. Now the column name, the specific column name, that is to mention the condition. So as I told before, we wanted only the records with employee is 25. So I'll mention the same employee is 25. Here we won't add quotes. We won't be adding the quotes because quotes are added for text fields, not the numeric fields. So that's it. Semicolon, press enter, and now we will see the result. Only the first two rows will get retrieved. Here you can see only the first two rows got retrieved because we use the condition under where clause. Now let's move further and use some more conditions. Now let's say we want records with employee age less than 30. That is first, second and fourth row should be our output. For that, again mention select star from employee. Press enter. Where, let's mention the condition employee age. Now we will use the less than operator 30 semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, as I told you before, 1, 2 and 4th rows are retrieved because we wanted records for age less than 30. So 1, 2 and 4th got retrieved. So guys, we use the equal operator and less than operator for our example. You can use other operators as well. So here are the list of operators in where clause: equal, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, this is not equal to, between, like and in. So in the further videos we'll be discussing all of them one by one. So for our example here we have used only the less than wherein we retrieved employee age and the equal operator. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily work with the where clause and what is the usage of where clause and what are the operators we can work around with the where to satisfy conditions and filter records. Not null constraint is basically used to ensure that a column cannot have a null value. So let's say we have a database AmitDB. Let's enter the database, use AmitDB, semicolon, press enter. Database changed, we have entered. Now let's create a table and for one of the fields, let us set it to not null. So to create a table, I hope you know we use create table, table name. Let's say our table name is employee. Create table employee, brackets, press enter. So the first column we'll be adding is employee ID, that is EMP ID. Let's set it to int type and not null because obviously an ID cannot be null. So a not null constraint enforces a column to never accept null values. After setting this, after creating this table, you won't be able to enter null values for EMP ID column. If you'll add it, there will be an error. Let's add the second column. First name, varchar, let's give varchar type, comma, press enter. Last name, Let's give it to varchar type again because it's a string. Last name also like first name, comma, press enter. Emp age, let's give it int and press enter. Now bracket semicolon and press enter again. Now you can see query OK is visible. That means we have successfully created employee table. Let's check the structure DSC space table name, that is DSC space employee. Semicolon, press enter. Now the structure of the table is visible. In the entire table we have 4 columns and only employee ID is not null. As you can see, null means no. That means we have created employee ID field as not null, which is int. So now let's try to insert some records. I hope you know that insert into table name is used to insert records in a table. Now under bracket set each field one by one. Emp ID, first name, last name and EMPH. Bracket, press enter. Values, write values and one by one enter the values, that is insert the values for the table. Here initially we will insert the first row records. For emp ID let's set null and we will see later what will happen because we have set the constraint as not null. For first name let's set Jack and we are using single quotes because it's a text field, it's a string. Last name let's set Sparrow. Then going further, employee age let's set 25 and that's it. Semicolon and we will now press enter. On pressing enter you can see column emp ID cannot be null. So this is the error coming. Why? Because we have set emp ID as not null. So this is the use of this constraint. Now let's set the values again. Insert into employees, press enter. Now set the values again and now I'll set not null values to remove this error. Emp ID let's say 1, Jack, Sparrow, 25, that's it. Now press enter. Query OK, one row affected. That means we have successfully entered the ID, which is not null. Now let's see the records. Select star from employee. I hope you know that to get all the records from the table, we use select star, then from, and then at the end the table name, which is employee. Right now we added only a single record here, so the same will be visible. Semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter you can see we have successfully inserted a single record in our employee table and this is not null. Primary key is used to uniquely identify each row in a table. For example, you can set primary key as employee ID, SSN number, license number, which is unique. Another example can be student roll number because every student gets a unique roll number, so it can be set as primary key. So now guys, let us see how we can set primary key constraint. We will see how we can create a primary key constraint in a MySQL table. The primary key constraint uniquely identifies each record in a table and it must contain a unique value and it cannot have null values. So let's say you have an employee table. In that, employee ID can be set as primary key because every employee will get a unique ID. In the same way, for student table, the roll number of the student or the ID of the student can be set as primary key because every student has a unique student ID or student roll number. So now let us see an example. Here we will be creating a table. So to create a table we use create table, then the table name. Let's say the table we are creating is employee. Now bracket, press enter. Now let's set emp ID, employee ID. Now let's set not null constraint because obviously an ID cannot be null. Comma, next. First name varchar 255 bracket closed, comma, press enter. Last name let's set it as varchar 255 same, comma, and press enter. Now let's set the emp zone, the same varchar 255 because the zone can be north, south, east, west. Now guys, we have completed with the 4 columns we wanted to add. Now let's set primary key for employee ID. How we can set in MySQL? Press enter, write primary key and in the brackets just mention the column you want to set as primary key. So in our case it's employee ID, emp ID. Now that's it. Press enter, bracket and semicolon. Now here we created a new table, create table employee. We created 4 columns: EMP ID, first name, last name and employee zone. EMP ID we have set it as primary key because it's unique for the entire table. Now press enter to create our table employee. Here you can see query OK. That means we have successfully created a table. Now let's see the structure of the table using DSC command. DSC space table name, that is employee, semicolon, and press enter. Now you can see employee ID, it's not null because we have set it here, and it is a primary key. PRE means primary key, short for primary key, and the same is visible. So we have successfully set primary key in MySQL. Now while inserting the values, you need to set unique values for every ID because it's a primary key. We saw what is a primary key, how we can easily create a primary key constraint while creating a table. Always remember, primary key must contain unique values and cannot contain any null value. In this video, we will learn what is a foreign key constraint in MySQL. Previously, we discussed about the primary key constraint. Okay, primary key constraint basically uniquely identifies each record in a table. Okay, it must contain unique values and a table can only have a single primary key. So now we are discussing foreign key. Foreign key is related to primary key. A foreign key is a field in one table referring to the primary key in another table. So we are considering two tables here and connecting them using foreign key and primary key. Okay, so there will be two tables. One would be a child table and the other one would be a parent table. Okay, the table with the foreign key is a child table and a table with primary key is a reference table, that is a parent table. So we will discuss this. We have two tables right now, employee and department. Okay, so here in employee table is having EMP ID as a primary key. Okay, so we have EMP ID for the entire table as primary key, and for the department table we have DPTID as the primary key for the department table. So now we are referencing both the tables. Okay, so the department table is having DPTID as the primary key as I told you before, but it is also having employee ID from the employee table. Okay, so this EMP ID is a foreign key. It is a field in one table that refers to the primary key in another table. Okay, so this is our foreign key. So this is the second table, department. Okay, so I told you under the department table we have DPTID as our primary key. I have shown it here. Here it is. Then we have EMP ID from the employee table from the previous table. Okay, and we have created references. So the foreign key EMP ID, this references to the employee table EMP ID, that is this. So both of them have a connection now. The child table is a table with the foreign key. So this is our child table and this is our parent table. Parent table is reference the table with the primary key. Here this primary key is a reference table, parent table. Okay, now you can read this. Employee ID column in the employee table is the primary key in the employee table. So employee ID is the primary key in the employee table. We have mentioned it under this primary key while creating table. Primary key of employee table is EMP ID, and EMP ID in the department table is a foreign key. This is how you can create a table we saw before and add a primary key. And herein we created foreign key and referenced it from EMP ID under the employee table. So guys, in this video we saw how we can work around foreign key in MySQL. Thank you for watching the video. We will see how we can work with unique constraint in MySQL. So unique constraint ensures that all the values in a column are different. So a primary key constraint automatically has a unique constraint. And always remember, a table can have many unique constraints, but only a single primary key constraint is allowed for a table. Now let's use Amit DB semicolon database change. We have entered the database. Now let's create a table wherein we will set one of the field as unique and understand the concept. So here create table, table name employee, bracket, press enter, EMP ID, let's set data type as int and not null, comma, press enter. Now set first name and last name. Last name varchar Now set unique for EMP-ID as I have told you before. Now press enter, bracket and semicolon. Now you can see query OK, 0 rows affected. Now let's see the structure of the table. DSC employee, semicolon, press enter. Here you can see it has automatically set the employee ID key as primary because we use unique, and it is also not null because null is no here because we have set not null here. So guys, we saw how we can work with unique constraint. We saw how we can create unique constraint. We created EMP-ID column as unique constraint and it automatically got set as primary key. Default constraint is basically used to provide a default value for a column. The default value gets added to all the new records if no other value is specified by the user. So now let us see how to work with default constraint using an example. We will create a table here. While creating, we will work with the default constraint. Now let's say we are creating a table employee, bracket, press enter. Now let's set some fields, employee ID, int, let's set it as not null. Now first name, we have set it as varchar, last name, we have set it as varchar again, comma, press enter. Now let's say we are entering employee department field here and we'll set varchar because it's a string value. Now let's say we will set a default here. I'll set the default as, let's say, every employee is part of, let's say, operations. Press enter, bracket, semicolon and press enter. Here for employee department we have set the default operations. Press enter. Now you can see query OK. Let's see the structure of the table using the DSC command, DSC employee, semicolon, press enter. Now you can see not null, we have set employee ID, same is visible here, null is no, and for EMP DEPT the default is mentioned as operations. Now while inserting the table, if we won't add any value to EMP DEPT, it will automatically insert operations. Now let's see an example. Now let's insert some values in the table, insert into employee, bracket. Now let's mention the columns one by one, EMP ID, first name, last name, that's it. Now we are not adding EMP DEPT because we want the default to be visible. Press enter, values. So here we have entered ID, first name and last name. We are not entering the fourth one because we want the operations default to get inserted on its own because it is set using default constraint. Semicolon, press enter. One row effective, that means we have successfully inserted. Now let's see the records of the table. Select star from employee, semicolon, press enter. Now you can see employee DEPT, EMP DEPT is operations, but we haven't set it here, but it took the default value operations because we have set it under default constraint here, default operations. So guys, we saw that how we can use default constraint, how we can set it, and using that while inserting, we inserted the default value without even mentioning it. The check constraint is used to limit the value range that can be placed in a column. So the check constraint, you can define it on a single column or a table. If you will define a check constraint on a single column, it allows only certain values for this column. So let us see an example to understand the concept. We are creating a table here, new table, create table employee, bracket, press enter. Here the first value we are adding is EMP ID, int type, not null, comma, press enter. Now let's add another column, first name, varchar 255, comma, press enter, last name. Now let's set the employee age. Let's set it as int because age is in int type, comma, press enter. Now we will set the constraint. Let's say we are setting constraint for age. So under bracket, set the age column greater than 20. That's fine. Now press enter, bracket, semicolon, and press enter again. Now you can see we have successfully created our table. Let's see the structure. DSC employee, press enter. On pressing enter, you can see the structure of a table is visible in which the employee ID is not null. We easily set the check constraint. Now let's try to insert some values and understand the concept of check constraint in a better way. So let's quickly add it. I hope you know to insert records we use insert into table name. Our table name is employee, same is visible here. Now let's set the column names, first name, last name, age, emp age, bracket, press enter. Now let's type values and enter the values one by one. Let's say employee ID 1, first name Tom, last name Hanks, comma, int. Let's set the employee age to be 18, bracket, now semicolon and press enter. Here you can notice that for int values we haven't set single quotes because single quotes is only required for string type, that is varchar. Semicolon, press enter. Now let's see what will happen. Here you can see the check constraint is violated because we have set here that you need to check while inserting records that employee age should be greater than 20. If you will try to insert values less than 20, the following error will be visible. So this is the usage of a constraint in MySQL. Now let's try to enter the values again. Now here I'll set it to 25, which is more than 18. So there won't be any error now. Press enter. Now you can see query OK, one refactor. That means we have successfully entered the value because it followed the constraint and entered the value more than 18. This constraint you can see here, which we entered while creating the table. We followed this and entered employee age more than 20. Now let's see the records of the table. We have added a single record, but still we can view it using select star. Press enter. Now you can see only one value is visible. There is no error because we have followed the constraint. We saw how we can create check constraint and work on it. So for employee age, we have set a constraint that while inserting the values, only the records for employee age greater than 20 should be allowed, else an error will be thrown, which we just saw, check constraint violated. And we enter the correct values, that is age greater than 18. In this video, we will see how we can easily alter a table. That is how we can add a new column to an existing table. It's very easy. So this is our MySQL server. We have started it. Now let's say we have an already created table, employee. So using DSC command, we will display the structure, semicolon, press enter. Now you can see the structure is visible. We have 5 columns right now. Employee ID and employee age are int and rest are varchar, that is first name, last name and employee zone, that is EMP zone. Now let's say we need to add a new column to an existing table. So let's say we'll be adding employee department column. For that use alter table command, then the table name, press enter. Now add the new column name, but before that use add. Then the new column name we wanted to add EMP DEPT, that is department column, employee department column. Now add the data type which you want for the new column, semicolon, press enter. Now query AK means that you have successfully added it. Now let's use the same DSC employee so that we can display the structure of the table. We have 5 columns. Now we'll be having 6 columns because we have added a single column here. Press enter. On pressing enter, you can see 6 columns. We have added a new EMP DEPT column. So guys, in this video we saw how we can alter a table, how we can easily add a new column to a table. In this video we will see how we can easily alter a table. That is, we will see how we can drop a column, that is deleting a column. Right now we have started a server MySQL. We have an already existing table, employee. Let's see the structure of the table. DSC command is describe command. DSC command, table name, our table is employee, semicolon, press enter. Right now you can see we have 6 columns. Now employee ID and employee age are int and rest are varchar, which is first name, last name, employee zone and employee department. Now let's say we need to alter a specific field, that is we want to drop a column, employee DEPT. Let's say this is the following we need to drop. For that use alter table, then the table name, which is employee, press enter, use drop column now, and after that enter the column name. That's it. So we wanted to drop the column employee DEPT, EMP DEPT. It's fine now. Semicolon, press enter. Now you can see query OK means we have successfully deleted the column, dropped the column. Now I'll again use DSC employee to see that whether 6 rows have been converted to 5 or not, because we have removed one of the column. Now let's use DSC space table name, semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, you can see EMP DEPT is visible here, but not in the updated table. That means we have successfully deleted, dropped the column EMP DEPT. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily drop a column using alter table. In this video we will see how we can alter a table. That is, let's say we need to modify a column, how we can modify it. So here for our example, let's say we have a table, existing table, employee. Now let's see the structure of the table using DSC command. DSC space table name, DSC employee, employee is a table name, semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, you can see 5 columns are visible right now. Employee ID and employee age are int, and rest are varchar, that is first name, last name, and employee zone. Now let's say we need to add a new column. For that we need to use the alter command. Alter table, employee, press enter, add column, add the column name, new column name we want to add, EMP DEPT, and the data type. Now semicolon and press enter. On pressing enter, you can see query OK. Now let's see the DSC employee again. Let's see the structure of the table again. What we'll be having? We'll be having 6 fields. Press enter. Now you can see we have added EMP DEPT using alter table. We have added a column. Now what we need to do? We need to use the modify column so that we can easily modify a column, alter a column. For that, we will just update the data type of any of the column using alter column. Now write the same alter table, table name, press enter. Now let's say we need to alter the data type of EMP DEPT. For our example, we'll be converting varchar to int. We'll be giving a new data type to EMP DEPT, which is very easy. Write alter column again, write alter column, space, the name of the column you want to alter. Now add the new data type, we want int because previously we were having varchar. Now semicolon and press enter. Let's do it again. Alter table employee. Now in MySQL we need to use modify column instead of alter column. Same syntax but with alter column is used in SQL Server. So we are using MySQL. So here I'll be using modify column. Now let's press enter. Now you can see query OK. So remember, this command is for SQL Server, MS Access, SQL Server and MS Access, but not for MySQL, and use modify column for MySQL. Now what we'll do, we will again add DSC employee and see that what all changes we can see here. Semicolon, press enter. Now you can see EMPT DEPT is now int type. Previously it was varchar. So how we changed it? We modified it using alter table employee modify column. The column name we want to change and the data type, new data type we want to add. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily alter a column from an existing table. We altered the column using the modify column statement in MySQL. In this video we will see how we can work with the AND operator in MySQL. The AND operator displays records only when all the conditions separated by the AND is true. So now let's see an example. Let's say we have a table employee. Let's see the records of the table. The select statement is used to display the records. Select star means all the records from table name. Here our table name is employee. Semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, you can see we have 5 columns in a table employee. And these are the records, 4 row records. So now we will be using AND operator. The AND operator allow you to add two or more conditions. So let's say from this table employee, we want the records of the employees with age 25 and zone north. For that, at first we will use select star for employee. Why? Because we want records from the employee table. Now press enter. Use the where clause. Now first condition, what we want, employee age to be 25. So we have mentioned 25. We haven't added quotes because in numeric we don't need to add any quotes. Now AND condition, this will check employees with age 25 with the second condition. We wanted employee zone to be north. So here we will add a quote because we are using text field. Here we use numeric field. So you don't need to add quotes in numeric field, but you need to add a quote in text field. Now semicolon and press enter. Here you can see employee with age 25 and north zone is Jack Sparrow. That is employee ID 1. We have retrieved it. Now let's add more conditions. Here I'll again mention select star from employee. Enter. Where employee age is equal to 25 and employee zone is equal to south, and the next condition, last name Hanks. Quotes because we added string. Now semicolon and press enter. On pressing enter, you can see we have retrieved employee age 25, employee zone south, and last name Hanks. So in this way you can use the AND operator easily in MySQL. In this video we will see how we can easily work with the OR operator in MySQL. The OR operator is used with the where clause. This operator displays a record if any of the conditions which is separated by OR is true. So now let us see an example. We have a sample table here, employee. Let's see the records of the table. To check all the records of a table, we need to use select statement, that is select star for all the records from the table name, that is employee is a table name, semicolon and press enter to get all the records. Now you can see we have 5 columns in our employee table. Now we need to use the OR operator. Now let's say we need to fetch all the records for employee zone west or east. For that, let's first use the same select star for employee because we need all the records from the table. Simple, press enter. Now use the where clause. Now we need to add 2 or more conditions. For that, let's first set the first condition. Column name EMP zone. What we want, west or east. Here we have mentioned west. Now the second condition for east. Here we have set it. Now semicolon, press enter. Here you can see we have retrieved the records for EMP zone west or east. So under OR operator, any of the conditions should satisfy. Both were satisfying, so the same is visible here, the output. Here we have used single quote because it's a string. If it was numeric, there is no need to use the quotes. Now let's see another example. Select star from employee. Press enter. Where, let's say we want records for first name and last name. Let's say the first name we will use Jack and the last name we will be using which is not present in this column. Now what will happen, since only one condition needs to be satisfied, it will still show the records. Now let's see first name and last name. I'll add first name Jack and last name something else. Let's add first name is equal to quotes Jack and last name, use OR operator, last name is equal to, let's say I'll add Dorsey. Jack Dorsey is the CEO of Twitter currently. So now we have added 2 conditions and under OR we have separated them. So Jack is present in a table but Dorsey in last name is not present. Here you can see it is not present in last name. Now let's see what will happen. Semicolon, press enter. Since only one condition is true, it is still displaying the records for this. Okay, so in OR operator, it's about any of the condition. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily work with the OR operator in MySQL. We also saw some live examples wherein we can easily work with OR operator and display records. In this video we will see how we can work with the NOT operator in MySQL. So the usage of NOT operator, it allows you to display a record if the conditions or a condition is not true. To understand the concept in a better way, let us see an example. We are having a table employee with 5 columns. Let us see the records of the table now. I hope you know that to display all the records, we use select statement with star. Select star from table name. Here our table name is employee. We have entered the statement, semicolon, press enter. You can see we have 5 columns in a table and records, 4 row records only for a sample example. Now let us see how the NOT operator works. So let's say herein we need to display all the records except with employee age 30. Means we need to only remove the third one and display 1, 2 and 4th row record. It's very easy in a single statement. Here we need to use the same statement, select star from employee initially, because we need to display all the record, that is all the column records. Now press enter. Here use the where clause, not. So what we want all the records except age 30. So mention the same, employee age is equal to 30. Since it's numeric 30 integer, so you don't need to add any quotes. Semicolon, press enter. Now here you can see all the records are visible except with age 30, that is third row record is removed and rest is visible. Now let us see another example. Select star for employee, where, not. Now here let's say we need records with Tom not being the first name, that is displaying only first, third and fourth row and ignoring the second one. So for that, simply not condition under not, mention first name is equal to under quotes because it's a string, it's in varchar. Now we have entered Tom. Now except Tom, all the rows will be visible. Press enter, semicolon, press enter. Here you can see only the second row is missing and rest all are visible. So Tom Hanks row is completely removed. So guys, in this video we saw how we can work with the MySQL NOT operator. In this video we will see how we can work with the in operator to specify multiple values in a where clause. You can consider this in operator as multiple OR conditions. So let us understand the concept in a better way using example. So we have an example table employee. Let's see all the records of the table. Hope you know to get all the records from a table we use select statement with star. Then from and after that mention the table name. That's why we have mentioned employee. So select star from employee, semicolon, press enter. Now all the records are visible from the employee table. We have 5 columns here and 4 row records. Now let's say we need to select the employee records that are from zone north and south. For that, use select star from employee because we want all the records. Press enter. Now where clause. Now what we want, employee zone from north and east. So mention employee zone here. Now we need to set multiple values. So use the in operator. Brackets under that set the values, that is north, comma, and what we wanted east, right? So here you can set it, semicolon, press enter. Now only the employee ID with one and east is third, only these two records will be visible, 1 and 3rd. That's it. Rest none of them will be visible. Now you can see 1 and 3rd is visible. Why? Because we have set multiple values. Here the values are north and east, so same is visible. Now let's say now we need to get all the records that are not from zone north and east. For that, what you need to do, you can use not in, use the same command. Use the same command first because we want all the records. So select star from employee, press enter. Where, mention the same employee zone. Now what you need to mention, we want all the employee records that are not in the zone north and east. For that, use not in and set the same north and east semicolon, press enter. Now what will be visible? All the records except these two will be visible because we have used not in. Press enter. Now you can see rest of the records are visible because we have used not in. So guys, in this video we saw how we can use in operator to easily specify multiple values in a where clause, as well as we also saw not in to go for opposite solution. In this video we will learn about the like operator in MySQL, which is used in a where clause to search for a specified pattern in a column. That means, so let's say you have an employee table and in which you need to find out all the records with the employee name that begins with R or that is having L in the third position. So for such cases we use like operator. So like operator is basically for search for a specified pattern. Okay, so it uses two wildcards. That is, the first one is percentage and the second one is underscore. So percentage is like representing 0, 1 or more characters, and underscore is used for a single character. So let's understand this with an example. Minimize this. So here's a MySQL server. Let's see our employee table. We are displaying all the records using select star from employee. Press enter. Here we have our employee table with 5 columns and 4 rows. Beginning with the first example, let's say we need to find all the records of employees with first name beginning with E. For that, what you need to do, we will use the wildcard. Let's first write select star from employee because we need all the records as our output. Now press enter. Use the where clause. I hope you know where clause is used to set conditions. So what we want, we need to get the first name that begins with E. So it's very simple. Write the column name. Now we need to set a specified pattern. For that, use like. Now what we want, beginning with E. So here we know that the first letter is E. So we are writing E here. After that, we are not aware that how many letters are there in the first name. It can be 3, 4, 5, 7, anyone, any number of characters in the string. For that, we will mention percentage and we will close the quotes. Why we mention percentage? Because we mentioned that like operator uses percentage wildcard for representing 0, 1 or multiple characters. That means we are not aware how many characters are there. So we will mention percentage here. Now semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, you can see second and fourth is visible. So here the first character is E and rest we don't care. That's why we added percentage. Now moving further, we want last name that begins with S. For that, since we want all the records, we will again write select star from employee. Now press enter. Where? Now the column we need to work on, set the condition, that means last name. Like, and what we want now, beginning with S, last name beginning with S, that means sparrow and stone. So what we'll do, we will set the first letter first, quotes S, and after that we don't know how many characters are there. It can be 5, 7, 9, 3, anyone, any number. So for that, just add the percentage wildcard and it will take care of all these things. Semicolon and press enter. Now you can see both of them are visible, sparrow and stone. Now let's move further. Let's see an example wherein we need to select all employees with employee zone ending with H. So for that, let's again see the table. Here it is, ending with H. So it's very easy. Since we want all the records, select star from employee. Press enter so that we can set the conditions. where now we want employee zone that ends with H, so EMP zone, like, let's mention the code first. We now know the last character, so mention H. Before that we don't know how many characters are there, because here it is having 4 characters before H, it is having 4 before H. It can be any number of characters, we don't know. Okay, so add percentage, that's it. Percentage will take care of 0, 1 or multiple characters. Semicolon and press enter. On pressing enter you can see only the first 2 is visible. So in this way we can see other examples. Now let's say we need to select all employees with employee zone having T in the 4th position. For that, let's mention select star again, because we want all the records. Select star from employee, press enter. Now where, and set the condition for zone, because we are focusing on zone that is having T in the 4th position. For that, like, now quotes, so we are having T in the 4th position. So now we are aware that how many characters are there before the 4th position. Mention T in the 4th position. Before that, underscore, because we are aware that there are 3 characters before T. You can see we have mentioned 1, 2, 3. 3 characters. So now T is at the 4th position. This is what we wanted. Now semicolon and press enter. Let's see what will happen. Here you can see east and west zones are visible because it is as a 4th location, because it is at the 4th location. And rest we mentioned underscore, because as I've shown you here, underscore because it is a single character. So we mentioned 3 characters, 3 underscores for 3 characters, and the 4th one is T, which we already knew. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily work with like operator in MySQL. In this video we will see how we can work with the between operator in MySQL. So using the between operator, you can select values within a given range. So for example, you want records with employees between age 25 to 30, you can easily retrieve using the between operator. So these values can be numbers, text or dates. With that, the operator is inclusive of beginning and end values mentioned in the range. For example, if you want the records from 25 to 30 including the age 25 and 30 as well, use the between operator. Now let's see an example. We have an example table employee. Let's first get all the records from the table. I hope you know that to retrieve all the records, we use select statement with star. Now from the table name employee, semicolon and press enter. Now you can see all the records from the table are visible. We have 5 columns and 4 row records. Now let's say we need to get the employee records with age between 25 to 30. For that, let's use between. At first we want all the records, so we will use select star from employee, the table name, press enter. Now the where clause, because we need to set a condition, where employee age column, wherein employee age between 25 and 30. So between will include 25 age as well as 30 as well. Semicolon, press enter. Now what will be visible? 25 to 30, first, second and 4th record will be visible, row will be visible. Press enter. On pressing enter, as I said, 1 to 4 is visible because age is between 25 to 30. That includes 25 and 30 as well. 25, 26, 26, same is visible. Now let's say you want the opposite of this. For that, use not between. We want all the records opposite of above. What we'll do, at first mention the same command, select star from employee to get all the records. Press enter. Where clause, employee age, not between because you want the opposite, 25 and 30. Now what will be visible? Only the record 24 will be visible, that is Brad Pitt employee. Press enter, semicolon, press enter. Now you can see only the third one, Brad Pitt, is visible because between 25 and 30 we want the opposite using not between, so the same is visible. So guys, in this video we saw the usage of between operator, and we also saw that how we can retrieve values within a range and the opposite of that. In this video we will see how we can work with case statement in MySQL. Case statement goes through conditions and it will return a value if the first condition is met. Works just like if then else statement. So I hope you are aware about if then else, if else in databases and programming languages. So if the condition is not met, the value in the else will get displayed. So here let's see an example to understand the concept in a better way. We have a table employee with 5 columns. Let's print the values. I hope you know that to display values from a table we use select and star, select statement and star. Now press enter. On pressing enter, the values of a table with 5 columns and 4 rows is visible. Now what we need to do, now let's say I need the first name and last name of employee on the basis of their age. Let's say if the age is above 25, the employee is eligible for senior profile, else he or she is a fresher. So let's begin with our first case statement. At first select, because we want first name and last name. I'll mention first name, last name, comma, then mention employee age, comma, case. This is our case keyword. Now press enter. With case we use when to set conditions. Now when EMP age is greater than 25, then mention what you need to add. Employee with experience eligible for senior profile. That's it. Now press enter for the second condition. When EMP age is equal to 25, let's say, then employee is mid experience level eligible, let's say. Now let's move further and mention the else freshers. That means less than 25, that means it's a fresher that is new to the company. It's fine now. Now press enter and mention end as is an alias, and in the output it will show the temporary column name. Let's say I'll mention it as eligibility. Press enter and the table name from the table name is employee. That's it. This looks fine. Semicolon and press enter. On pressing enter, you can see we have displayed the conditions as per the records. So hope you know why this first name and last name is visible, because we have mentioned select first name, last name and employee age. So employee age is also visible. All three records are visible. After that we went to case and checked for conditions. Employee age is greater than 25, that means employee with experience. So for 25 it's 26, same is visible here, and for 26 same is visible, eligible for senior profile. We went for another condition, employee age is equal to 25, that means employee is mid experience level, and the same is visible for Jack Sparrow 25, mid experience level and eligible. Now after that else, what will come under else? It's a fresher. That's it. Brad Pitt 24, fresher, new to the company. It's fine. Under end we have mentioned the alias. Alias is a temporary column name. Eligibility is visible here. This is a temporary column name and it remains in the duration of the query, so it will remain for this purpose only. After executing next query, this temporary column name will vanish. And the last is the table name. Same criteria is visible and the eligibilities are also visible. So guys, in this video we saw how we can work with case statement in MySQL. We saw an example wherein we set eligibilities of employees on the basis of age and experience level. In this video we will see how we can add comments in MySQL. So comments are basically used to describe the sections of statements in MySQL, just like any other database or programming language. So whatever you will mention in the comment won't get executed. Let's now see the type of comments in MySQL. We have single line comments. You can set single line comments using double dash or using hash. So let's see an example. Here we have a sample table. So we have mentioned the command to get all the records from the table, select star from employee. Now let's add a comment, space, fetch all records from table. Now I'll press enter and this won't get executed because it's a single line comment. Only this command select star from employee will get executed. Press enter. On pressing enter, only this got executed, and for reading purposes, to make things clear, we have mentioned this is to fetch all records from table. From a table I should have mentioned. Anyway, so now let's mention the command again and remove this. Now mention another way to set single line comment, double dash. Let's mention the same. You can add any comment from a table. Now press enter, only this will get executed. You can see we saw two ways to add single line comment using hash and double dash. Now moving further, guys, let us see how we can add multi-line comments. For multi-line comments, just like in any other database and programming language, we use that is shown here. Now let us add select star. Now I'll add multi-line comments. Press enter. Begin with this. Press enter. Retrieve all records from. Press enter for multi-line from table employee. Let's say alright, we are using select, press enter, another line in a comment. So I mentioned it. Now what you need to do, press enter again and end the comment. Now press enter, write the table name from employee semicolon and press enter. Now you can see the output is perfectly visible because we have successfully added comments. These comments 4 line won't get executed, only the select star from employee got executed. In this way you can set single line as well as multi-line comments in MySQL. To add single line comments, we have two ways, using double dash or hash. For multi-line, we saw how we can set it. In this video, we will see how we can easily return the sum of a numeric column. Using the sum function, we can easily get the sum of the column values. So let's say we have a sample table employee. Let's see the records of the table. For that, I hope you know that we use select star from table name. So here our table name is employee, so we have used the same. Semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, you can see we have 5 columns in a table and 4 row records. Here the numeric column we are having is employee age. If we need to find the sum of all the ages, we can use the sum function. So let's use it. We will use the select statement. Select, now write the sum function brackets. Under that, mention the column name for which you want the sum. So here we want the sum of ages. So I'll mention employee age, that is EMP age. Now press enter. Now use from and mention the table name. So here our table name is employee, as you can see here. So I have added the same. Now semicolon and press enter. On pressing enter, you can see we have added all the ages using the sum function. So if you want to change the heading, that is, if you want this column to have a temporary name, the output column to have a temporary name, what you can do, you can use the same sum, and while using that, in a single command you can mention as is for alias, and here mention the column name you want to see in the output. So here I'll mention result, let's say. Now press enter and the same from table name, that is employee. Semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, you can see the temporary column name has been changed to result, and here is the sum of all the ages. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily work with the sum function in MySQL to get the sum of a numeric column. In this video we will see how we can work with average function in MySQL, that is AVG. So to return the average value of a numeric column, you need to use the average function. So let's say we have a table employee. Let's see the records of the table. For that, to get all the records, I hope you know, we use select star, then use from, and then the table name, that is employee table. Press semicolon and press enter. On pressing enter, you can see we have 5 columns. Under that, employee age is numeric. So using the AVG function, we can easily return the average value of such numeric columns. So we will see the average age of employees here using the AVG function. So it's very easy. What you need to do, write the select, then the function name, brackets. Under the bracket, you need to mention the column name you want to use. That is, we want average of ages, that is employee age column. Now from, mention a table name, that is employee, semicolon. Now press enter to get the average age. Now you can see the average of all the four ages is 26.7500 and the same is visible. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily return the average value of a numeric column. Here our numeric column was employee age, so we found the average of ages which was 26.7500. In this video we will see how we can use the count function in MySQL to return the number of rows, that is the count of rows matching a specific criteria. So here we can get the count of rows, and you can also set a condition, and on that basis you can get the number of rows. So here we have started our MySQL server. Let's say we have a table employee. Let's see the records of the table employee. It is having 5 columns. Here you can see select star from the employee to get all the records from the employee table. Semicolon, on pressing enter, all the records will be visible. Now here we are having 5 columns with 4 row records. Now let's say you want the count of employees with age 25. For that, use the count function, select. Now use the count function, bracket. Under the brackets, you need to set the column from which you want the count. So we want to work with employee age column. So we will enter it, press enter. Now the table name, from, table name is employee. As you can see here, now enter. Now here using where clause, we will set conditions. Let's see where. So what we want, where employee age is equal to 25. So we will set the column name is equal to 25. So we haven't added any single quotes because we are working on numeric field. So quotes are only used when you add strings. So here we are having numeric value, so we haven't added any single quote. Semicolon, press enter. Now the output should be 2 because only 2 employees are having age 25. Press enter. On pressing enter, you can see only 2 is visible. So here we counted the number of employees having age 25. Now let's see another example. Here how you can count the number of rows in the entire table. For that it's very easy. You select, then count, bracket. You need to only add star, not any specific column name, because we want the count of rows, that is the number of rows in the entire table. So I'll add star. Now press enter. Now only add the table name, that is from employee. Semicolon, press enter. Now you can see count 4. So in a table we were having 4 rows. The count is 4. That's why here 4 is visible. Here it is. So guys, in this video we saw how we can work with the count function. We also saw that how we can set conditions so that we can get a specific count of rows. In this video we will see how we can easily return the largest value from a selected column using the max function in MySQL. Let's say we have a table employee. For our example, we already created it. Let's now fetch all the records from the table employee. I hope you know that you use select statement with star to fetch all the records. We have used select star from table name, that is employee. Semicolon, press enter. Here you can see all the records of the table employee is visible with 5 columns and 4 row records. Now let us fetch the maximum value from the selected column, that is from EMP age, that is employee age column. So the maximum value will be 30 and the output should be 30. Now for that, let us write the command select, then use the max function. Under brackets you need to add the selected column, that is the column we need to select, and that is the column from which we need to retrieve the maximum value. Now as you can use the as command, you can consider as an alias, that is a temporary name that will be given to the output column. Here we will see it. Let's say I'll set it as largest age. Now press enter and just mention the table name, that is employee. So this will fetch the maximum age from this column, and the output will be shown as column with name largest age. Press enter, semicolon, press enter. Now you can see 30 is visible as the output because it's the maximum age from employee age column, and the heading and the name of the column is largest age. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily return the largest value from a column. In this video we will see how we can return the smallest value using the min function in MySQL. That is, if you want smallest value from a specific column, you can use this function min. Let us see an example to understand the concept in a better way. Let's say we have a table employee with 5 columns. Let's see the records of the table. To display all the records from a table, we use select statement with star. Here you can see select star from table name, that is employee, semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, you can see all the records of the table. Employee is visible with 5 columns and 4 row records. Now let's say we need to get the minimum value from employee age column. For that, you select, then the min function, and just enter the column name in the brackets. That is emp age in our case. That's it. Now you can use the as command also. That is an alias for the output table or column. That means a temporary name. Let's say I'll mention smallest age. This is a temporary name that will be visible in the output. Press enter. So we have set select minimum for employee age. Press enter. Now mention the table name. That's it. Table name is employee here. Semicolon and press enter. On pressing enter, you can see the smallest age out of this was 25. And the heading, the name of the column, or you can say the temporary name of the column, is smallest age because we have set as here. That's it. In this way, you can easily fetch the smallest value from a specific column, from a selected column, you can say. So guys, in this video we saw how we can fetch the smallest value from a column, how we can return the smallest value from a column. Thank you for watching the video. In this video we will see how we can easily update the existing records in a table using the update statement in MySQL. Select star from employee, semicolon, press enter. Now all the records from a table is visible. We have 5 columns and 4 row records. Now let's say we need to update the table. Here we will update the age of employee name Brad Pitt from 27 to, let's say, 24. So for that, what you need to do, you need to use the update statement at first. Use update, write update, then the table name. After that, press enter. Now you need to use set so that you can set the new value. So what we need to set, we need to set employee age is equal to 24. Press enter. For employee ID 3. So for employee ID 3, that is Brad Pitt, employee ID 3, we need to update employee age from 27 to 24. This is what I have done. Under set, we need to add the new value we need to update, and where is the condition. So now after writing semicolon, I'll press enter and the value 27 will get updated to 24 because for employee ID 3 we are focusing using where clause, we have set a condition. Press enter. On pressing enter, query OK, 1 row affected, 1 changed, 1 rows matched. That means we have changed it. Now let us check all the records. Again using select star from employee. Using select star from employee, semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, you can see for employee ID 3, the employee age is now 24. It was 27 before. So we have updated using the update command. So you can also update multiple records. You can set the same in the where clause. Now let us see an update command through which we will update the employee with first name Emma, that is second and fourth one, to age 26 for both of them instead of 23 and 30 respectively. So how we'll do it, how we can update multiple records using update command. So let's write the command again. Update employee, press enter. set employee age is equal to 26. Now where clause, where first name is Emma. Okay, so employee ID second and fourth will get updated with employee is 26. Semicolon, press enter. Here it is 2 rows affected because we affected both the 2 rows. Previously only 1 row got affected because only 1 row got changed. Under this 2 rows got changed. Now let's see the records again. Select star from employee, semicolon, press enter. Now you can see age for Emma Watson and Emma Stone both got changed to 26. It was 23 and 30 before. We changed multiple records using update statement. So guys, in this video we saw how we can work with the update statement in MySQL. Using update, we can update specific records as well as multiple records. In this video, we will see how we can easily delete existing records in a table using the delete statement in MySQL. So using the delete statement, you can easily delete any specific record from a table. With that, you can also delete all the records from the table. After deleting all the records from a table, only the table structure and attributes will remain. Rest, all the records will get deleted. Let us see. So here is a MySQL server. We have started it. Now let's see a sample table. We have a table employee. Let's see the records of the table. So here we have mentioned it. Select star from employee. Our table name is employee. Now semicolon and press enter. On pressing enter, you can see the employee table is having 5 columns and 4 row records. Now let's say we need to remove the employee name with employee zone south. For that, let's mention the delete statement. Delete from, now the table name employee, press enter. Now the where clause, because we need to set a condition. What condition you need to set? Where employee zone is south. So let's set EMP zone is equal to south. Here we have added a single quote because this is a varchar value. If there was a numeric value, there is no need to add a quote. So here we have added a quote for text field, semicolon, press enter. Now let's see what will happen. So we have successfully deleted because query AK is visible. Now let's see the records again. The second record will get vanished. Let's see the records. Same command. Select star from employee, semicolon, press enter. Now you can see the employee ID second vanished because we have deleted it from here. Now let's see how we can delete all the records from a table. So this will delete all the records, but it won't delete the table. So to delete all the records, just write delete statement from and the table name. Semicolon, press enter. Or you can see here, you can see query OK 3 rows affected because all the 3 rows affected and is now deleted. Now let's use the select star statement again. Press enter. Empty set because we have deleted the entire table, but the table is remaining. How you can check that the table is intact? Very simple. Use the DSC command. DSC table name, that is employee is a table name. DSC employee, semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, the structure of the table still remains. Okay, so using delete all records, using the delete statement, we can delete all the records from the table and make it empty set, that is empty table. But the entire structure of the table will remain the same, will remain intact. So guys, in this video we saw how we can delete a specific record from table as well as how we can delete all the records from the table. In this video we will see how we can use the order by keyword in MySQL to sort the records in ascending or descending order. By default it sorts the records in ascending order. For descending you need to use the DESC keyword. Now to understand the concept in a better way, let us see an example. So here we have an already created table employee. Now let us see the records of the table employee. Hope you know that to display all the records from a table, we use the select statement with the star, that is select star from table name. Here our table is employee, so we have mentioned select star from employee, semicolon, and press enter. On pressing enter, you can see our employee table is having 5 columns and these are the 4 row records. Now let's say we need to sort the records in ascending order on the basis of employee age. Then how we will do it? It's very simple. At first write select star from employee, because in the end result what we want all the records in sorted order. Press enter. Order by, that is the order by keyword space, and now you need to mention the column through which you need to sort, that is the table employee sorted by employee age column. That's it. Now semicolon and press enter. Now all the records will get sorted according to employee age. Press enter. On pressing enter, now you can see the records are ordered according to employee age in ascending order. That means to arrange the records from smallest to largest. That is from the smallest age to the largest. Here it is, we have sorted it. Now let's see an example for descending order. Mention the same, because we want all the records in descending order. Press enter. Use the order by keyword. Now since you want the records to be sorted by employee age column in descending order, here mention the column, and for descending use the DAC keyword. That's it. For ascending we don't need to add a keyword because it's by default, and for descending we need to add DAC. Semicolon and press enter. On pressing enter, now you can see we have arranged the record in descending order, that is largest going below smallest according to employee age column. So guys, in this video we saw how we can work with the order by keyword to arrange the record, sort the records in ascending or descending order. In this video we will see how we can select a limited number of records using the limit clause in MySQL. That is, we can specify the number of records to return easily using the limit clause. So for that, let us first see an example. Here we have created an employee table. Let us see all the records of the employee table using select star. Select star from table name employee, semicolon, press enter. Here you can see all the records of the table employees visible. We have 5 columns and 4 row records. Now let's say we need to retrieve all the records, all the column records, but only the first 2 rows. For that, since we want records from all the columns, use select star from employee, press enter. Then use the limit clause, and after that add the number. This number is the number you need to specify the number of records to return. That is, for 2 it will retrieve only 2 records. If you will add 3, it will retrieve 3 records. Semicolon, press enter. Now let's see what will happen. Here you can see it has retrieved only 2 records from the table. In this way, if you want 3 records, let us see, it's very simple. Mention select star from employee, because you want records from all the columns. Press enter and limit. Since you want 3 records, write limit space 3, semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, now you can see 3 records we have fetched, 3 rows. Here we fetched 2 rows. This is what we use in MySQL, that is limit. For SQL Server you need to use select top in place of limit, and for Oracle you need to use row num keyword. So here we are working on MySQL, so we use limit clause. In this video we will learn about alias in MySQL. So in database terms, in table terms, alias is a temporary name that is given to a table or a column in a table while showing the results. So the alias is good for, it makes the column more readable, and it only exists for the duration of the query. That means after that, when you will see the output and you will execute a new query, the previous temporary name given to a column will get vanished. Now let us understand the concept in a better way using an example. So we have a sample table here, employee. Let's retrieve all the records from the table employee. Select star from employee, semicolon, press enter. Now let's say we need to retrieve only the age column from the employee table, and the heading, the name shouldn't be emp age, it should be something else. So we can achieve this using alias. Let's write select, we want the column name emp age. Okay, so now use the as keyword and set the name you want to mention here at the time of execution. That is the result. Let's say I'll set it as age underscore of underscore employees. Okay, now what we need to do, we just need to press enter and the table name, semicolon, press enter. Now we will see the output. On pressing enter, you can see all the ages are visible and the heading is not EMP age, it's age of employees because we have set it using alias, that is as. Now let's say we need to retrieve multiple columns. So here, let's say we will go for first name and last name. For that, mention the same command but separately. In a way, select, we wanted first name, we have mentioned the name. Now set as, let's say I'll set it as name1, and comma, we want last name as well, mention last name, this is the actual column name, as, let's say name2. This is just for an example. Press enter. From employees, semicolon, press enter. Okay, sorry, let's write again. Table name is employee, press enter, semicolon. Now you can see first name, last name was the name of the columns respectively, but now we have changed it to name1 and name2 at the time of executing the query. So as I told before, alias remains till the duration of the query. Now if I'll type select star from employee, the same will be visible. That is the previous actual name, first name and last name will be visible. Here you can see same is visible, not this one, because this remains till the duration of the query. That is, alias remains till the duration of the query, and it is used to make the column name more readable. So guys, in this video we saw how we can use alias in MySQL. So guys, thank you for watching the video. In this video we will learn about auto increment field. Auto increment allows you to add a unique number which gets generated automatically on inserting a new record in the table. So let's say you have set a field as auto increment. It will give a unique number to the field. That is, a unique number will get generated, generally 1 2 3 4, and whenever you will insert a new record, it will increment one by one and get inserted into the table. So this is often a primary key that gets created automatically and increments automatically whenever a new record is inserted. For an example, minimize this. So here we will see an example. Now let's create a new database. Create database name. Let's say database name is AmitDB, semicolon, press enter. Query OK means we have created a database, new database. Now let's see it under the list of databases. Show databases, semicolon, press enter. Under the list of databases, you can see AmitDB is visible. That means we have successfully created a database. Now to add a table to it, use the database name and enter the database, semicolon, press enter. Database change, that means we are inside the AmitDB database. Now we have entered a database. Now we will create a table and set one of the field as auto increment keyword so that we can perform an auto increment feature in it which gets incremented after every insertion. To create a table, I hope you know, create table, table name. Let's say our table name is employee. So we have set it here, brackets, press enter. Now let's set the first field which will be our auto increment, int because it's an ID and not null, so that we can enforce that a null value never gets added to the employee ID, so not null constraint. Then set the auto increment keyword so that we can perform auto increment feature, comma, press enter for the next column. Next column, let's say next column is first name, varchar. Let's set the next field last name, set it as varchar. It's fine now. Now comma. Now EMP age, that is employee age, int, comma, press enter. Last one, let's say employee zone, which is the string, so set it as varchar. It's fine now, comma. Now let's add the primary key also. So obviously you know that our primary key is now EMP ID because it should be unique. An ID for an employee is always unique. We have set it as EMP ID. Now press enter, bracket, semicolon, and press enter again. Query OK, that means we have successfully created a table. Now let's see the structure of the table using DSC command. DSC table name, DSC employee, semicolon, press enter. Now you can see the structure of the table is visible, 5 columns, and the first one is int type, not null, key is primary, and so under this column it will be mentioned that it is auto increment or not. It is an auto increment and the same is visible. Now guys, what we'll do, we will try to insert some values so that we can show you that how auto increment works. Let's see. To insert, I hope you know we use insert into table name. The table name is employee. Then mention the field names one by one. EMP first name, last name. Mention all of them. EMP age and EMP zone. Now close the bracket. Here, since we have set EMP ID as auto increment, we don't need to mention it. Remove it. It will automatically get generated. Now press enter. Values. Now let's mention the values one by one. We won't mention any value for employee ID because it will get automatically generated and incremented. So let's mention for others. Here for first name varchar we will use single quotes because it's a string. Last name, same thing will work, single quotes. Now age won't be having any single quote because it's numeric. Zone, let's set north, and quote would be visible because it's a string. Close it, semicolon, press enter. Here you can see we haven't added employee ID because it will get generated on its own since we have mentioned it auto increment. Press enter. Okay, one row affected. Now let's see the contents of the table. It is only having one record, one row. Select star from employee, semicolon, press enter. One added on its own. This is due to auto increment. Now when I'll insert another record, it will get incremented to 2, then for another 3, and it goes on. Now let's insert 2 records. Same, insert into employee. We haven't mentioned EMP ID here, you can see, because it will get automatically generated. Press enter. Now let's set values, first name, last name, then age, and then zone. Semicolon, press enter. Now you can see we have added the second record, second row. Now let's enter the third one. Insert into table name employee, first name, last name. Here you can see we are again not adding the ID because it will get added on its own because we have set it as auto increment. Press enter, values. So guys, here we have set the third record. Now I'll press enter. We have inserted the third record. Now what I'll do, I'll just use select star from employee. Now you will see that the employee ID will get auto incremented. That is, on every insertion it will get increased by 1. Press enter. Here you can see employee ID, we never added it, but it got added on its own. It got incremented on its own on every insertion. So guys, this is what we wanted to tell you. In this video we saw what is auto increment, how we can easily set auto increment while creating a table, and how we can increment the IDs after every insertion using auto increment. In this video we will see how we can easily create indexes in a MySQL table. So indexes are basically used to retrieve records from the database quickly than any other method. So to create an index we use create index statement. At first let us see the default table we are having. We are having employee table. Let's see the records of the employee table. Using select star from employees, semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter you can see we are having 5 columns in the employee table with 3 row records. Now let's create an index. It's very easy. Use create index statement. Now the index name, you can add any index. Let's say my index name is demo index. Now press enter, use on, and now mention the table name on which you want to create an index and for which column. So we are having employee table. Now let's say we need to add index for first name. So mention first name here, semicolon, press enter. So you can see we have created a demo index, query OK, that means we have created it. Let's create another index, create index, demo index 2, press enter, on, then mention a table name, on employee. Here let's add index for multiple columns, that is combination of columns. You just need to list the column names within this parenthesis separated by comma, that's it. So let's say it's for first name and last name with the employee zone. That's it, bracket closed, parenthesis closed. Now press enter, semicolon, press enter. Now you can see query OK, that means we have created another index successfully. Now let's display all the indexes, that how we can easily query the index information of a table. Use the show indexes statement, show indexes from the table name. So the table name we were using was employee, semicolon, press enter. Here it is, maximize it. Here you can see show indexes from employee we used, and all the information of the indexes are visible. So we created two indexes, demo index and demo index 2. So demo index 2 was having 3 columns, first name, last name and employee zone, and demo index was only having 1 column. So this is how you can easily create index in MySQL. We will minimize it. Let us now see how to drop indexes. You can use the drop index statement to delete an index. For that, let's see the command. Let's see the command drop index. Now the index name, let's say I want to delete the first index. Its name was demo index. Mention it here. Now on, and the table name. The table name was employee. That's it. Now semicolon, semicolon, press enter. On pressing enter, query OK, that means we have successfully dropped it. Now let's check the indexes using show command again. Show indexes, show space indexes from table name, that is from employee. Now semicolon and press enter to display all the indexes. Here you can see all the indexes are visible. All the indexes are visible, but demo index is not visible. Only demo index 2 is visible, that is the second index, because we just now deleted the first index, demo index. So guys, in this video we saw what are indexes, how we can create an index, how we can drop an index. We also created demo indexes and dropped one of them. In this video we will see how to work with joins in MySQL. Join is a clause. It is used to combine rows from 2 or more tables, that is to join tables, and the joining is based on a related column. That is, both the tables, let's say we have 2 tables, both the tables will get joined on the basis of a related column. So the types of joins are inner join, left join, right join and full join. Full join is not supported in MySQL. So let's talk about inner join. Inner join returns records that have matching values in both the tables. So if both the tables having some matching values, then the result will be the same, that is the records having matching values. Left join, using left join you can return all records from the left table and the matched records from the right table. So under right join, this is the opposite of left join. Under right join you can return all records from the right table and the matched records from the left table. Now we will understand the concept of all the 3 joins using an example. So guys, now you can see we have started our MySQL server. Now we have 2 tables which we'll join. That is, the first one is employee table. So let's display the records from the table using select star from employee, semicolon, press enter. Here is the records of the employee table, and the second table we are having is department, semicolon, press enter. Now both the tables are visible. Here both the tables are linked using a related column. Yes, the related column is department ID. It's present in the employee table as well as under the department table. We will join both the tables using this. At first, let's begin with inner join. So using inner join, we can easily return records that have matching values in both the tables. So for that, let's write the query. So at first, under select, we are including the EMP ID from the employee table, that is this one, and DEPT name from the department table. So the output will be having two columns. Now press enter. Mention the table name we want from the employee table. How we will get both the values? By joining them using inner join. Now press enter. So here you can see we joined both the tables using employee.department ID and department.department ID. That is this ID and from this ID. Department ID in department table is the primary key and employee ID in the employee table is primary key. So this is the syntax inner join. Inner join department, that means we are joining employee with department table using the department ID column, that is the related column. So now on pressing enter, the output will be visible. That is the matching values. Here you can see the matching values are visible. Employee ID 100 and employee ID 102. Here employee ID 100 is having department ID 2 and it is also visible here, and 102 employee ID is having department ID 3 and the same is visible here. Now we'll see how we can work with left join. So left join returns all rows from the left table even if there are no matches in the right table. So for that, let's say we have two tables, department and employee. So let's print the values. The first table, select star from employee. Here are the records of the employee table. Now let's get the records of the department table. Press enter. Here you can see records from both the tables are visible. Now we will perform left join. So here in the output we will display the employee ID from employee table and department name from the department table. Now let's mention the table name. Press enter. So here we are using left join to join both the tables, that is department and employee, on the basis of their IDs. Let's see. So we are joining both the tables on the basis of department ID in the employee table and department ID in the department table. So this is the primary key of the department table, and for the employee table the primary key is EMP ID. So we are joining both of them to work on left join so that we can return all rows from the left table even if there are no matches in the right table. Now let's press enter after using semicolon. On pressing enter, you can see the output is visible. Now let's see how we can work with right join. So right join returns all rows from the right table even if there are no matches in the left table. So it is the opposite of left join. So let's say we have two tables. Select star from employee, our first table, and department table. So these are our two tables. Now let's say we need to perform the right join. So we will perform right join using the related column, that is DEPT ID, department ID in the employee table and department ID in the department table. So let's perform the query. Here we are displaying EMP ID from employee table and DEPT name from the department table. From department, now using right join, we have joined both the tables, department and employee, on the basis of the department ID in both the tables, that is this department ID in both the tables. Now what you need to do, press enter. On pressing enter, you can see the values are visible. That means we got all the records from the right table and the matched records from the left table. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily work with joins in MySQL. We saw what is an inner join and what are left join and right join. These are also called left outer join as well as right outer join. In this video we will see how we can drop an existing table in a database using drop table statement. So remember that dropping a table means deleting a table, and it will delete the entire record information stored in the table. Now let's say we have an employee table. Let's print the structure of the table, DSC employee. Press enter. Here is the structure of a table with 5 fields. Now let's print the records. Select star from employee to print all the records. Here are all the records of the employee table with 5 columns and 4 row records. Now we need to drop the table. For that, use the drop table command. Drop table name. So our table name is employee, semicolon, and press enter. On pressing enter, you can see query OK. That means it has deleted, it has dropped the table. Now let's try to get the records of the table using the same select star from employee, semicolon, press enter. Now you can see table employee does not exist. It vanished because we deleted it and dropped it. Now when you'll try to use DSC command, colon, semicolon, press enter, same won't be visible because we have dropped the table. Dropping a table means removing the records as well as the entire structure of the table. If you only want to remove the records and keep the structure of the table, you need to use delete instead of drop, or you can also use truncate. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily drop a table in MySQL. Dropping a table will delete all the records from the table as well as the structure of the table. In this video we will see how we can easily drop a database. So dropping a database means deleting all the records from the database, all the tables from the database. So for that we'll be using the drop database statement in MySQL. So let's first see the databases we are having. To list all the databases, use the show databases command, semicolon, and press enter. Now you can see all the databases are visible. These are the default, the last 4, and the first one we created. If we need to delete the database, we will use the drop database statement. Before deleting the database, remember that it will delete the entire data, all the tables from the database and everything. Now mention the name of the database, AmitDB, drop database statement, then the name of the database, semicolon, and press enter. Query OK means we have successfully dropped the database. Now let's use the show databases command, semicolon, press enter. Now you can see AmitDB vanished from the list of databases. Now if you will try to use the database, enter a database, use AmitDB, it will show an error. Press enter. Unknown database AmitDB because we dropped it. So guys, in this video we saw how we can easily drop a database and delete the entire database as well as the tables in it. Guys, if you liked the video, you can directly go to our channel and support us by subscribing and joining. Click on the join button. Herein you can support us, okay, by clicking join here. And you can also go to any of our video, okay, herein click on the 3 dots and click thanks. You can also directly support us here, okay. Thank you for watching.